What's up, everyone? Welcome to The Heroic Ethic. I'm your host, Liberty Bill. So first, let me apologize for my lengthy hiatus. I took some time off from this channel to more fully devote myself to my Dungeons & Dragons channel, which you should check out if you play Dungeons & Dragons, of course. But I feel like I've, at this point, gotten my production schedule, opened up enough where I can finally start working more on The Heroic Ethic. So I'll be making videos for this again going forward. Today I wanted to talk about Jordan Peterson, who I am a huge fan of. I think he gets a lot of things right, but he doesn't get everything right. And today, when I was watching him on a clip from The Roommates, which is also a very good YouTube channel, I'll put a link to the channel in the video description below, check him out. But in this clip, he gets it wrong. So I'm going to show you the 90-second clip first, and then I'll explain why he's wrong.
So something else I've been hearing, Dr. Peterson, a lot of young men have been sharing with me, and I'm not sure how much you've heard of it or experienced it. They've been sharing that, that they feel as though the average woman has no desire for the average male, and that because of things like social media, online dating, things along those lines, as well as just some of the female empowerment where a lot of women have this is what they say, an elevated sense of self, that now they feel like they're above a lot of these average men, which also contributes to a disparity between young adults being able to connect and form meaningful relationships.
Yeah, well, women are more picky in their mate choices than men, especially sexually. That's the case in every culture. And it's not surprising because women have more at stake sexually than men do, per episode, because men don't get pregnant, obviously. And so that female pickiness that's the case. That's definitely true. Whether it's worse now or not, I doubt if it is. I would say to young men who are irritated at women is, if you're irritated at women, as a class of creature, there's something wrong with you because they're right. You're wrong. They're right to not pick you. If they're not picking you, it's because they're right.
Wow.
Now, that might I know that's a terrible thing to say.
Okay, so Peterson's age is showing here, and his upbringing, I think, as he gets things wrong both for boys and for girls. So first, let me talk about what he's getting wrong with for boys. First of all, he does, to his credit, admit later in the clip that he really has no idea what he's talking about on this, but he should lead with that and not give bad advice to start, even though that's his opinion, because he's coming at it from a perspective of a clinical psychologist, right? He's being presented with a set of ontological facts which describe reality as it is, and he brushes that completely aside to focus on advice to men, which is to be better. And first of all, that's just horrible advice. I mean, duh, of course you need to be better. That's like telling a basketball player who's asking you how to become better to score more points than your opponents. Duh. Yeah, that's not very helpful, is it? Right? It would be better to hear, well, okay, the three-point shot is the most efficient shot on paper, but if you're really tall and can play that inside game, you can possibly exceed the expected points per shot by, playing that post-up game. And, blah, 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 right? Tactical analysis that goes in deep and looks at the set of ontological facts and makes choices based on those. And here he does nothing of the sort, and in the process kind of overlooks the general problem and in fact, just the general direction that society is heading in. Because, it's a legitimate question. How good do I need to be if I want to attract a woman, right? And generally throughout history, it's been, you need to be top 20%, the old 80-20 rule or Pareto principle. And of course, that's just kind of like the mean. Only about 40% of all men have ever reproduced. So you basically needed to be top 40% to reproduce at all, with like a 2 or a 3 on a 10-point scale. And you kind of needed to be in that top 20% to have a shot with a 5 or a 6. And you needed to be, top 10% to have a chance with a 7 or an 8, and, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But is that shrinking, right? Is the target percentage that a man needs to be at shrinking? Of course it is. 100% it is. And it's due to social media allowing women to have access to, lots more men that they ever have had before, and social mores that's against marriage and pro promiscuity, etc. These are significant factors. And so, if a man needs to know, well, okay, now you need to be top 10% to have a shot with a 5 or a 6, or top 5% to have a chance with a 6 or 7. That's valuable information that they should know, and it shouldn't just be dismissed in favor of women, right? Which is the second thing that Jordan gets wrong here, is that he basically just says, well, women are always right in their preferences. And man, as the father of a daughter who is now 12, what horrible advice, dude. No, of course your preferences aren't always right? If you absolutely want that top 0.1% man by showing up with a pretty vagina, guess what? It's not going to work. There's a huge disconnect between your expectations and the reality that you can expect, because while that top 0.1% guy is willing to bang you, he ain't going to commit to you, and that's kind of what you want as a girl, right? And so I am 100% not taking this perspective when it comes to my own daughter. And I hate to call you out, Jordan, but dude, have you seen what your daughter Michaela is up to lately? I mean, she's getting banged by Andrew Tate, a pickup artist guru who I promise you is never going to commit to her. And maybe if she had been better equipped to make better decisions, that wouldn't have happened. So this channel is not about relationship advice, and so I'm not here to tell men what they need to do to get more women, or tell women what they need to do to get the relationships they want with a good man. But I am here to point out the inaccuracy of Jordan Peterson's view, and just kind of like the blind spot that he has in looking at this. He's not really interested in actually figuring out the lay of the land so that boys can benefit by making better choices. And he clearly doesn't seem to be, of the school of thought that he should hold women accountable for their choices. So that's my opinion, but let me know what you think in the comments below. I'm very curious to hear. And regardless, thank you so much for watching. This has been The Heroic Ethic. I'm your host, Liberty Bill. See you next time.